Welcome. We will conduct a decision-making exercise today. You will have an opportunity to earn some extra money by engaging in this exercise. Before we begin, there are a few things we would like you to keep in mind. It is very important to follow all instructions. Following these instructions carefully might improve your chances of earning more money. Please focus on this decision exercise. Please refrain from doing other activities during the exercise so that you're not distracted. Note that you will be playing in a group together with 3 other real people at the same time. It is therefore very important that you complete this exercise until the end without interruptions. During this exercise, please never click, go back, or reload button. This will disrupt the exercise. Also, please do not close this window or leave this exercise's web pages in any other way. If you do close your browser or leave the exercise, you will not be able to re-enter the exercise, and we will not be able to pay you. Including the time for watching the video instructions, the whole exercise will take about 40 to 50 minutes to complete. You can earn $1 for watching the video instructions and completing the quiz. You can also earn a bonus of $2 by completing the exercise until the end without interruptions. In addition, you can earn more, up to an extra of about $10 by making decisions. This extra money you will be paid depends on the tokens you will earn through this exercise. The more tokens you earn, the more money you will be paid at the end of the decision exercise. Each token is worth 4 cents. Your group has been formed by randomly assigning you to 3 other participants. This means that the amount of money you earn will depend on the decisions made by you and the other members of your group. Finally, you will not know who those other persons are, and they will not know who you are. Now, let us tell you a little about the exercise. This exercise mimics decisions people make in the use and maintenance of public water supply system. Basic model of the decision exercise is as follows. There is a public water supply system that provides water to homes in an area. There are 2 types of participants that make decisions on this water supply system, a provider and 3 users. The provider can invest in the maintenance of the system performance. Users can consume water delivered by the system for basic necessities such as drinking, cooking, and sanitation, which affect their benefit. Note that the benefit users derive from using the public water supply system depends on the performance of the public water supply system. The performance of the system, in turn, depends on the provider's investment in the system maintenance. Now, note that, some time ago, an unexpected event happened in the area. This event introduces unpredictable fluctuations in the performance of the public water supply system, even when substantial investments are made to its maintenance. More specifically, in each round, users are endowed with 10 tokens. Users have 3 options on how to use these 10 tokens. First, users can pay the 10 tokens as fees to the provider to use the public water supply as is, despite fluctuations in the system performance. This means that the benefit users derive from the system also fluctuates. Second, users can exit or leave the area and use a different public water supply system elsewhere with a cost of 10 tokens. This different public water supply system performs without fluctuations. Third, each user can petition the provider to improve the system while still paying 10 tokens to the provider to use its service. For the users, petition is costly because they also have to spend their time and energy to do this. For the provider, petition by a user reduces the provider's benefits because the provider has to spend time and energy to handle or respond to petition. The provider collects fees paid by the users and decides how much of the collected fees to invest in the system maintenance. The provider has 2 options on how much to invest. The provider can invest 15 tokens in the maintenance of the water supply system, or invest 5 tokens in the maintenance of the system. Choosing invest 15 tokens can lead to better system performance compared to choosing invest 5 tokens. The provider's earnings in a round is the tokens remaining after the investment tokens are subtracted from the collected fees. Know that you and 3 other players will play the situation just described multiple rounds throughout this decision exercise. There are 4 players in a single group, 3 users of the public water supply, and 1 provider that maintains the system. In this exercise, you will be randomly assigned to one of these 4 players. Your role will not change during the entire exercise. As the consequence of the decisions made by you and 3 other players and the fluctuations in the system performance introduced by an unexpected event, 2 outcomes are possible in each round. When the provider invests 15 tokens and 2 or more users choose pay or petition, the system performance will vary from round to round between 60% and 100%. That is, the actual system performance will be anywhere between a lower of 60% and an upper limit of 100%. Thus, the corresponding net benefit users obtain will also vary from round to round between 7 tokens and 15 tokens. Otherwise, the system performance is at 50% or below. As a result, the net benefit of users is 5 tokens. For example, this happens when The provider chooses invest 15 tokens, but only 1 or 0 user chooses pay or petition, or the provider chooses to invest 5 tokens. More specifically, at the beginning of each round, each user is endowed with 10 tokens. Each user then decides what to do with this endowment among 3 options: exit, pay, and petition. First, if a user chooses to exit the area and does not pay to the provider, then the user is using a different public water supply system elsewhere with a cost of 10 tokens. This different public water supply system does not experience fluctuations in performance. In this case, the user obtains a fixed net benefit of 10 tokens. Second, if a user decides to pay to the provider to use water as is, there are 2 possible outcomes. When the provider invests 15 tokens and 2 or more users choose pay or petition, the system performance will vary between 60% and 100%. When this happens, the earnings of the user will also fluctuate from round to round between 7 tokens and 15 tokens. Otherwise, the system performance is 50% or below, and a user will earn 5 tokens as his or her benefit. Third, if a user chooses to petition, then there are also 2 possible outcomes. Note that a petition does not only cost the farmer 2 tokens, but also deducts 5 tokens from the provider. When the provider invests 15 tokens and 2 or more users choose pay or petition, the system performance will vary between 60% and 100%. When this happens, the earnings of the user will also fluctuate from round to round, but this time, the earnings will fluctuate between 5 tokens and 13 tokens because 2 tokens are deducted from making petition. Otherwise, the system performance is 50% or below, and the user will earn 3 tokens because 2 tokens are deducted for the same reason. The provider receives tokens from the users who choose pay or petition. The provider faces 2 possible choices regarding on how much to invest. The provider can choose to invest 5 tokens in the maintenance of the public water supply system. In this case, the provider's earnings will be the tokens remaining after 5 tokens are subtracted from the collected tokens. Alternatively, the provider can choose to invest 15 tokens in the system maintenance. In this case, the provider's earnings will be the tokens remaining after 15 tokens are subtracted from the collected tokens. However, the provider's earnings will be further deducted by 5 tokens for each user choosing petition. Note also that the provider's earnings cannot be less than 0 in this experiment. Let's illustrate the provider's perspective with an example. Suppose that 2 users choose petition and 1 user chooses pay. Then the provider receives 30 tokens from the 3 users. If the provider decides to invest 15 tokens, the provider has 15 tokens remaining after the investment cost. However, because 2 users choose petition, 10 tokens will be further deducted from the provider's earnings. Thus, the provider will earn 5 tokens. Please note that there is a time constraint for decision making in each round. Both users and provider need to make a decision within 1 minute. If you don't decide within 1 minute, you will see a warning message. If you need more time, you can click the continue button in the warning message to get an additional minute to make your decision. If you don't make any decisions after this additional time, you will be removed from the experiment. That concludes our brief explanation of this decision exercise. Great work! Before starting, we would like you to test your own understanding of this decision exercise with a short quiz. You will also have the opportunity to play 2 practice rounds. After the practice rounds, you and 3 other players will play the first set of rounds of this decision exercise.